let's go back to Philadelphia, born and raised, high school in
Yep.
Philly, and everybody wants you. I mean, you're huge, the athleticism. I remember reading a quote from you once. There was some other young kid who came up a few years after you, and you were like, you better get those dunks out now because they start going away quick. And I was like, man, because you used to just humiliate kids in college. What's your favorite story from that time of recruiting, having to make a decision, ultimately leading to UNC?
Oh man, it's actually I got two I can wrap up in one. So when here I am, I was blessed enough to be wanted by a majority of colleges in the country, D1, 2, 3, NAIA, JUCO, all of that. Because at the time, SATs was 700, and my senior year, I didn't take the SAT up until like spring of that year. So, that's why I had all the schools. And so here I am. I'm watching North Carolina play Michigan, and the infamous C-Ware timeout and all that stuff, right? So Carolina wins, boom. I get up the next morning, I go to school, normal day, class, practice, workouts, all of that. I come home and, my mom and I, we were living in an apartment. So I just kept walking straight to my room. I had my headphones on. I kept walking straight to my room, but out of my peripheral, I seen, some figures in the living room. So I stepped back and I gave a look back like, and who was it sitting there? It was my mom, Coach Smith, and Coach Phil Ford, who I think is the greatest basketball player in Carolina history, but that's another story. They're sitting in my living room. So I take my headphones off. I'm like, man, hello, coach, what's up? This, and I'm like, what y'all doing here? Y'all should be saying, y'all just won a championship last night. Y'all should be celebrating or whatever. He was like, no, we celebrated last night. Now it's back to business. That right there stuck in my head. All right, I said, okay. Because, I was used to that championship mentality with playing in high school at Simon Gratz, winning 3 city championships and 2 national championships. So I understood what he was saying. But I never had a coach outside of my coach, Bill Ellerby, tell me that. And, that stuck with me. So, boom, all right. A couple weeks later, I'm taking my visit. So, boom, get down to Carolina. So one of my guys, he's my host, right? And so we get there. He's like, yeah, we're going to do this. We're going to go to this party, take you around campus, this and that. So I'm like, all right, bet. So we going here and there. So here comes party time. So I'm like, all right. He's like, yo, he said, where you staying at? I said, they got me in a little hotel right around the corner from campus. He like, let me borrow your key for a second and I'll be right back. I said, all right, cool. I ain't thinking nothing of it. So I was in the room with one of his cousins, right? So, we just chilling and we playing the game, me and him playing the game. I look up, 3-4 hours passed by. The party, well, for me, the party was over, but he had a party and all of this stuff, right? Did what he did in the room, went to the party on campus and everything. So I'm sitting in the room playing video games, right? So I'm like, dude, what happened? He like, oh man, my bad. Just got caught up with some stuff. I was like, oh. So ever since then, but it was cool though. I still have fun that whole visit down there to Carolina.
Wait. So
I always killed them.
He was, the host is supposed to show you a good time to get you to want to go there. Imagine if the coaching staff knew what he had done. Like, were you guys playing the same position or something? Did he not want you there?
No, we wasn't. But no, it was my man. It was funny. I was there for like about 3 days, so it was just that one day. But It was still funny. So I always kill him to this day. I'm like, damn, man, you ain't trust me enough to come out with you. Left me in a room. So I always kill him to this day. But no, we still brothers.
Was there ever a chance you were going somewhere else in the process?
Or
maybe you thought you were.
To be honest, I gave real heavy consideration with going to Georgetown and Coach Thompson, Coach Big John Thompson, because growing up, Patrick Ewing was one of my favorite players to watch because he was so tall. And I didn't start out playing basketball. My first love was track and field. But watching Pat Ewing, when I actually got into basketball, him being so tall and he coming with the hook and you know how he curled up for his jump shot, I'm like, man, this guy, man, he's just running the floor. So he became one of my favorite players to watch. So then I started watching, college basketball with my older brother. and Georgetown and this and that. So I was heavily considering Georgetown. But the only thing is, my freshman year, I wouldn't have had no guard. You know, nobody knew that Allen Iverson was coming. You know, because he was playing football at the time and, you know, going through other things. But the great basketball player he was, you know, nobody got wind that he was going to go to Georgetown. So I was like, man, I need a guard, because at the time I think my skill set wasn't good enough for me to bring the ball up the court and, you know, do a lot of the things that you see a lot of the power forwards do today. So I said, I need a guard to be able to bring this ball up and give me this rock, and, you know, vice versa. And at the time, Georgetown didn't have one. So looking at it, I'm like, Carolina is my best option, because Derek Phelps, here it is, he's coming off of the NCAA championship. And I think they were only missing two or three guys, but one of them was a significant player, was George Lynch. So, but everybody else on that team was coming back. Eric Montrose, Derek Phelps, Brian Reese, Donald Williams, they all were coming back. So I'm like, damn, you can't get no better than that. So along with, you know,
Stackhouse too, right? And Stackhouse coming in.
Yeah, he was my brethren coming in with me in that freshman class, him and Jeff McGinnis. So that's two other guards that I trusted. So I'm like, damn, it's a no-brainer. And boom, ended up going down there to Carolina, and the rest was history with them.
So it would have been, because you were 2 years, and who knows, I mean, if it's the same thing as Georgetown, your second year, Iverson would have been a freshman.
Right. Just like if I would have stayed for my junior year, Vince Carter and Antoine Jameson would have been a freshman.
Yeah, because that was right.
Imagine that five.